bring you a reminder of hot topical conversations of the day.
Even state investors. As what you're saying, you've not funded those as well.
Critical analysis of hot and trending topics on Hot Topics.
That's enough for a responsible government to take appropriate action.
Politics.
If every president, every governor, every minister, every commissioner took his job seriously, this country would not be where it is.
Economy.
We're not growing in terms of what's happening with the economy.
Lifestyle. Human angle.
Put the government on notice.
And sometimes the unusual. Evening Rush with Precious. Monday to Friday, 6:15 p.m. to 9 p.m. 90.3 Voice of the People FM, Lagos. Now,
you have a voice.
Hello, this is your good radio pal, Citizen Jones Hussein, with the Voice of the People VOP Radio 90.3 on your dial. I'll be sharing 2 solid hours of compact radio with you. Join me, Citizen Jones, every Saturday morning, 7 to 8 a.m. on newspaper headliners and 8 to 9 on Citizen Jones This Morning. Keep the date, Saturday, 7 a.m. to 9.
For here, put on for in there, burn am. Yes, they no go find better work do. Now yahoo they go do. Stop! That person where you won't born, if it dey innocent, no go carry person blood put for your head. Jungle justice no good at all. Stop am.
You wey light the fire, you no get heart. Say no to jungle justice.
You uncle, we follow for the crowd they look where then they burn person. You no stop them. If they do you like film, abi? Your hands self no clean no. You fit enter gbege. Stop the lynching. Stop jungle justice.
Under the criminal law for Lagos State, person wey start jungle justice, those wey support them and those wey just sit down look, all of them fit rot for jail. My name na Benjamin Hundeyin, Lagos State Police talk person. Stop jungle justice.
This message now from Lagos State Police Command
and VOP 90.3 FM.
Hello, Lagos. Good evening to you from our studio. It is 23 minutes. Yes, exactly. It is 23 minutes before 7 o'clock. Good evening and welcome to the Evening Rush on 90.3 Voice of the People FM. My name is Precious Inyi, and I am absolutely glad as usual to be with you today. So today we'll be looking at one but only one thing. We'll be digging into the Labour Party and the Labour Party presidential candidates. We'll also be touching on other candidates of the Labour Party today. And of course, our focus is on the It's Possible manifesto of the Labour Party today. So all you that love Labour Party and of course their candidates, this is time for us to talk. We'll be looking at their chances come 2023. Is it possible? Is it something that is feasible? Is it something that is achievable? Does Labour Party have what it takes to actually win the required percentage of votes across the country, Nigeria, irrespective of region? These are the issues I'll be looking at today on this show. Welcome to the Evening Rush, and this is our hot topic today. My name once more is Precious Inyi. In a flash, I'll let you know who my guest is. Stay with us, I'll be right back. The Evening Rush with Precious, featuring sound and informed guests across various sectors to discuss matters arising on Hot Topic Party.
What was the rate of inflation, and Demi, what was the exchange rate?
Intense conversations. Critical analysis.
What is wrong with us 200 million people? We can't even give ourselves.
We sometimes disagree.
When we say our GDP is not an oil-dominated.
To agree.
Like what's going on here? I saw that.
On Hot Topic Pali, Monday to Friday, 6:15 p.m. to 9 p.m. 90.3 Voice of the People FM, Lagos. Now you have a voice.
Come sit tire for here. Put on for in neck. Burn am. Yes. They no go find better work do. Now yahoo dem go dey do. Burn am. Stop. That person where you won't born, if it dey innocent, no go carry person blood put for your head. Jungle justice no good at all. Stop am.
You wey light the fire, you no get heart. Say no to jungle justice.
You uncle, we follow for the crowd they look where then they born person. You no stop them. If they do you like film, abi? Your hands self no clean no. You fit enter gbege. Stop the lynching. Stop jungle justice.
Under the criminal law for Lagos State, person wey start jungle justice, those wey support am, and those wey just sit down look, all of them fit rot for jail. My name na Benjamin Hundeyin, Lagos State Police talk person. Stop jungle justice.
This message now from Lagos State Police Command
and VOP 90.3 FM.
All right, this is VOP 90.3 FM. That's where you are. And of course, the program is the Evening Rush. And on the Evening Rush this evening, we are looking at quite a couple of discussions this evening. One of which is the Labour Party's chances come 2023 presidential polls. That's what we'll be looking at on the show this evening. And of course, I've got a guest who'll be joining me in the conversation this evening too. Like every other party, right? So the crisis, there's a bit of crisis in Labour Party, and would have to be looking at those discussions to later today or later on the show today. Would also be looking at the chances of Labour Party winning the presidential and of course other elections that they have filled in for come 2023 elections. But most importantly, we are digging deep into the 2020 into the It's Possible manifesto of the Labour Party and how actualizable that manifesto is. We'll be looking at everything that, the manifesto is set to achieve, and looking at also the possibility of achieving, of that happening, so that we're sure that it's not just one of those many promises that, we come up with, or one of those many manifestos that at the end of the day, just turns out to nothing. That is what we're looking at, especially considering the movement of the Labour Party. And then we're also looking at the candidacy of Peter Obi, his emergence, and the movement that surrounds his emergence, and if this actually presents rare chances for Nigeria come 2023. These and more issues we are looking at, and I have with me in the studio Professor Chris Nwukobia. He's joining me via Zoom, and we'll be discussing this issue this evening. Professor Chris Nwukobia, all right. Professor Chris Nwukobia is the convener and the convener country's movement. That is the Country First movement. He's the convener of the Country First movement. He's also the director public affairs, the Big 10 Obidati Independent Campaign Organization. Prof, you're welcome. Good evening. Thank you so immensely for obliging me.
Good evening. It's my pleasure to be on with you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I'm glad that you made it here. All right. So our first look, our first discussion is on the It's Possible manifesto. Let's dig a little deep into it. So can you put us through on what, a brief summary of what the manifesto is set to achieve?
I can't hear you. I can't get that. Just please repeat that question.
Can you hear me? I said our first stop is on the manifesto that was released over the weekend. So can you put us through on what the manifesto is set to achieve?
Interestingly, I've told people in various fora that what we have today as the Obi presidential campaign manifesto is actually a working plan. We have always had a 7-point agenda, a 7-point manifesto.
Yes.
But what we had to do was last weekend come out with what we call a 72-page working document that has gone viral as a manifesto. But what is it about? Like you noted, it's about showing Nigerians and making Nigerians understand how we intend to take our country out of poverty to promise, how we intend to make Nigeria a successful nation, how we intend to rework our country, and indeed make Nigeria a pride of place for not only the black man, but for every well-meaning Homo sapien. And I say without equivocation that the Obi Manifesto goes to the roots of the very major challenges of our nation. It is indeed a working plan that addresses issues of unity, issues of job creation, that addresses issues of fighting corruption systematically and through a rework of our legal processes to ensure that we're able not only to checkmate and fight corruption, but take our country away from redundancy to progress. The manifesto, indeed what I call a working plan, goes to the root of how we want to ensure that we create wealth. And that is why the Obi campaign has popularized the cliche, moving from consumption to production. The manifesto is interested not only in doing all this, but revolutionizing our educational sector. You know that whilst Peter Obi was the governor of Anambra State, he moved Anambra from number 24 in the educational ladder to number 1. He believes that the only way you can make our country work, the only way you can make our country better, is to put primacy on education. We're talking about a working plan that goes to the roots of our country. The working plan provides for restructuring. We're looking at how we can restructure our country and make it indeed more creative, more progressive, and more effective.
Okay, sir, I can hear you. All right, so you had initially mentioned the 7-point agenda, which was which has been in existence for quite a while before the recent release of the manifesto. Is there any clear difference between the 7-point agenda and the manifesto proper, or is the manifesto more like a larger plan or a bigger phase of the 7-point agenda?
Indeed, the manifesto is in 7 thematic areas. So it's more like showing how the 7-point agenda of Peter Obi can be actualized. We did raise issues about how to improve on the girl-child education and how to inspire and propel the reinvention of our values in terms of creating an educational curriculum that leads to skilled growth in terms of skill, acquisition of skill, over just what we have always had, which is certificates. We're talking about how we're able to develop a nation that believes in the dignity of labor. Don't forget that he is a Labour Party candidate. Yes. So our working plan is in tandem with the purposes of creating dignity in labor and ensuring that we're able to make vocational studies, that's the word, a part of our national life. We're going to put primacy in education. We're going to ensure that our legal framework allows for progressive leapfrog of our country to the realities of the 4th industrial revolution. which is clearly human capital development. You know that largely the greatest wealth in the world is first in the human capital and then the arable wealth that God has blessed this country with. And so we acknowledge in the Obita campaign that God has blessed our country with amazing resources and riches ineffable. And that is why when we discuss our country, Peter Obi, our president, has said in no uncertain terms.
Hello, Prof, are you there, please? All right, I think we've lost him. Would ensure that we try to get back to him and so we can get him. Prof, I don't know if you're there. Please, if you're there, can you respond?
Also from consumption to production.
Okay. I think we lost you briefly, though. We lost you briefly there. I don't know if you can help us repeat your last sentence. All right, I think we're having a bit of technical issue. I'll get back. Let's see what we can do. All right, Prof, are you there? I don't know if you can hear us. Apologies, we lost you briefly there. Hello? All right, we'll ensure to connect with him back, and then I'll get back to you once we're able to do that. By the way, you're still listening to 90.3 Voice of the People FM. That's the station that you are. And I'm due for a break very shortly. But before that break, I'd like to let you know that we've been speaking with Professor Chris Nkobia, and of course, his strong supporter of the Obi Dati movement, and we'll be looking at a couple of things as regards the Labour Party. First of all, we're looking at the It's Possible manifesto, how actualizable that manifesto is. Exactly. We're also looking at the rise of the Labour Party generally and the Obi Dati chances to win the 2023 election. These are the topics that we're looking at. And then we'll probably be streaming the question further, or streaming our discussion further down to the 2023 is Peter Obi's sudden accent truly a representation of rare chances, tonight for Nigeria? Because a lot of people will think, oh, he's different. And then some people will say, no, he was the status quo. He was, what has been in existence. And then we also look at, a bit of the crisis that has been playing out in the Labour Party. And of course, if Labour Party has all that it takes to get at least a required number of votes to win the 2023 election, especially in the center. These and more discussions we'll be looking at. But I'm due for a break very shortly. When I come back, we'll delve further into it. Please stay with us.
For here, put on for in neck. Bonam, yes, I no go find better work do. Now Yahoo, then go do. Stop! That person where you won't born, if it dey innocent, no go carry person blood put for your head. Jungle justice no good at all. Stop am.
You wey light the fire, you no get heart. Say no to jungle justice.
You uncle, we follow for the crowd they look where then they bomb person. You no stop them. If they do you like film, abi? Your hands self no clean no. You fit enter gbege. Stop the lynching. Stop jungle justice.
Under the criminal law for Lagos State, person wey start jungle justice, those wey support am, and those wey just don't look, all of them fit rot for jail. My name na Benjamin Hundeyin, Lagos State Police talk person. Stop jungle justice.
This message now from Lagos State Police Command.
And VOP 90.3 FM.
Hello, this is your good old good radio pal, Citizen Jones Hussein, with the voice of the people VOP Radio 90.3 on your dial. I'll be sharing 2 solid hours of compact radio with you. Join me, Citizen Jones, every Saturday morning, 7 to 8 a.m. on newspaper headliners and 8 to 9 on Citizen Jones This Morning. Keep the date, Saturday, 7 a.m. to 9.
Successful business, or are you struggling in your business? Listen to Business Launchpad with Peter Anosike, Nigeria's #1 finance book author, every Saturday by 10:30 a.m. on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. Business Launchpad.
If you want to be heard, say it here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. 90.3 FM.
Papa, mama, brother, sister. This Lagos must work for all of us. Everybody
Oh yes, Lagos people, papa, mama, sister, brother, auntie, plus including uncle them. Better don't land for Lagos State gidigba. Money will be for Lagos State, then go use them for Lagos State. Wella, no more papa sope. They no go chop Lagos State money. Nobody go pocket Lagos State. Then go take and build Lagos State, build road, build hospital, build houses, and now only one man fit do this job. His name na Abdulaziz Olajide Adediran Jando. He can't carry one obonge person as the deputy governor. Her name na Funke Akindele. My people, what do we wait for? Make we vote for light, vote for change. No be the kind change where they vote before. This one na the original change. How Amumu don't do? Pay the pay.
Everybody
When I finish downloading this show like this, I will go straight to Tayo's house to eat sweet jollof. Then enjoy this movie on YouTube. It's just that Tayo will now start disturbing me to turn on my Wi-Fi for him when he can easily enjoy data bonus with MTN for me. With MTN for me, you will get 100% data bonus and discounted data bundles just like that. What are you waiting for? Dial *121# to get started with MTN for me.
Voice of the People 90.3 FM.
When I finish downloading this show like this, I will go straight to Tayo's house to eat sweet jollof. Then enjoy this movie on YouTube. It's just that Tayo will now start disturbing me to turn on my Wi-Fi for him when he can easily enjoy data bonus with MTN for me. With MTN for me, you will get 100% data bonus and discounted data bundles just like that. What are you waiting for? Dial *121# to get started with MTN for me.
This is your #1 radio station at VOP 90.3 FM.
When I finish downloading this show like this, I will go straight to Tayo's house to eat sweet jollof. Then enjoy this movie on YouTube. It's just that Tayo will now start disturbing me to turn on my Wi-Fi for him when he can easily enjoy data bonus with MTN for me. With MTN for me, you will get 100% data bonus and discounted data bundles just like that. What are you waiting for? Dial *121# to get started with MTN for me.
Evening Rush with Pressures. Featuring sound and informed guests across various sectors to discuss matters arising on Hot Topic Party.
What was the rate of inflation? And Demi, what was the exchange rate?
Intense conversations. Critical analysis.
What is wrong with us 200 million people? We can't even give ourselves.
We sometimes disagree.
When we say our GDP, it's not an oil-dominated.
To agree.
So like what's going on here? I saw that.
On Hot Topic Pali, Monday to Friday, 6:15 p.m. to 9 p.m. 90.3. Voice of the People FM. Lagos. Now you have a voice.
Lagos, you are welcome back. This is 90.3 Voice of the People FM from our studio. It's exactly 7 o'clock. Welcome back. And we have been talking with Professor Chris Mokobia, and we have been looking at digging deep a bit into the It's Possible manifesto of the Labour Party, or the Labour Party's presidential candidate. And we're looking at, some of the key areas of that manifesto. Professor Chris, I don't know if you can still hear me. Apologies for that long break. Welcome back. If you can hear me, please. Yes, thank you. Oh yes, I'm glad you can hear me. So you were telling us about the 7 points agenda and how it is also highlighted in the 7 key areas in the manifesto.
Yeah, I was saying that principally what the It's Possible manifesto has done is to add flesh to the 7-point agenda of the Peter Obi campaign. We're looking at how what we call the manifesto of the Obidati campaign can directly, effectively impact on our nation, how it can directly and effectively address the questions of nationhood, how it can directly and effectively address the questions of hunger, out-of-school children, molestation and abuse of the infant girl, and how it can address the fundamentals of national growth and wealth creation. Peter Obi understands that at the core of our national problem is insecurity, and he has said in the manifesto that not only are we going to rejig the security architecture, we're going to employ more soldiers, more police, and then add to that retooling and re-equipping the police and adding technology to crime fighting, adding technology to how we defend our country, and above all, improve on the salaries and emolument of our servicemen, of our soldiers and policemen. And then he also did note that at the core of our problem is disunity. And in the manifesto, he did talk about the need to foster our unity, the need to build and increase and improve upon all that unites us as a nation. Because never before has our country been as divided today as it is under the Muhammadu Buhari administration. And that's exactly why in the manifesto we did talk about the need to create a government of national unity that will address issues of unity, that will address issues of citizenship, and that will improve upon all that unites us. He says in that manifesto that no Nigerian will consider him or herself left behind in the Nigerian enterprise. And then I did state the need to overhaul our legal framework so that through technology, through the effective use and application of the law, we're able to fight corruption and make leadership responsible and responsive to the people. What we're talking about is that I can hear you. You can see me now.
Let's let you continue, Prof. You were, talking. Apologies for that brief break.
What was the question now?
I had asked you to off the mic to help us position your camera properly, so that those watching on YouTube can hear you, see you as much as they can also hear you very properly. So let me let you continue in your flow of thoughts.
So if you can hear me very well,
yes,
what we're looking at is creating a nation where leadership is responsible and responsive to the people. Where education is of primacy, where citizenship is of primacy, where the rule of law addresses the fundamental issues of nationhood, where security of lives and property is of primacy, and where our day-to-day life is in tandem with existing global realities. We're talking about massive and boisterous infrastructural improvement. We're talking about a nation that is responsible and responsive to the people, a nation that improves on its wealth through job creation, through vocational training, through fundamentally through production rather than consumption. We're looking at a nation where governance and leadership is responsible and responsive to the people. That is the fundamentals of It's Possible manifesto of the Labour Party and Peter, Greg Obi, and Ahmed Yusuf Baba's manifesto. What they're interested in is a Nigeria where things work, where the dignity of labor is of primacy, and where the unity of our country is improved upon through citizenship rights.
All right, so Prof, very well worded. I've read through the entire 62 pages. My intention this evening is not to raise questions myself, but rather to let the Nigerian public pose questions and hear or get reactions from you. But however, before I let them in on it, a lot of people would think, beautiful and well worded, but we have seen manifestos before, and this is not the first well articulated manifesto that we've seen. Why should we believe that the Labour Party and truly your candidate would have all that, or has all that it takes to truly implement on every single word of that manifesto?
Let me say clearly that the manifesto of the Labour Party, which is captioned "It's Possible," is different from any manifesto you have seen in this climb before. I say this without equivocation, that this manifesto speaks to the fundamental issues of nationhood, of wealth creation, of dignity of labor, of education. It speaks to practically every sector of our national life. It is different from the 80-point manifesto of the APC in 2014-2015, that has become all promises cancelled. And it is different from the Atiku Abubakar covenant with the Nigerian people normative that was drafted by somebody who has come out to say that he wasn't, that nobody gave him credit, nor was he told that they were going to use his work for the PDP manifesto. What we have has the imprimatur and contribution of Peter Greg Obi. It has the contribution and imprimatur of Dati Baba Ahmed. It has the contribution and imprimatur of the Labour Party and the Obedient Movement. It's a well-rehearsed, a well-articulated, a well-researched document. And what I call it is a work plan for a new Nigeria. And I tell you without equivocation that this document will not only be implemented in full, the Nigerian people will be part of the implementation of this process. All right. So,
the reason I ask this question is because a lot will say that, your presidential candidate has been part of the status quo. He was a member of ABGA. He moved to PDP and now he's in Labour Party. Pretty much the general characteristics of most Nigerian politicians. So that's the worry. That's the reason. So if he can probably have that, show those attributes of, jumping ships at will, why should we also believe that he probably would not change his mind in ensuring that he lives to the word, every letter in that manifesto? The reason I asked that question.
For 8 years, he was a governor of Anambra State. For those 8 years, he was a governor under the All Progressive Grand Alliance, ABGA. For those 8 years, he did not decamp or move from one party to the other. He left Anambra State better than when he left as a governor of Anambra State. He joined the People's Democratic Party because he wanted to impact leadership from the center. ABGA, principally an Eastern Nigerian party, and so he wanted to be part of mainstream politics and impact the country effectively. You are aware that in 2019, he was the vice presidential candidate of the People's Democratic
Party. Exactly. And he has his principal running now, or he's running against his former principal right now.
I'm trying to get the fundamentals. He contested for the primaries of the PDP a few months ago. And when it became obvious, like he said, that the process was going to be grossly and heavily monetized, he refused to be part of vote buying. He refused to be part of those who will compromise the delegates, and he left the party. As fate will have it, like you noted in your opening remark, he joined the Labour Party, and it's been a monstrous rise because the Nigerian people believe in his message, because his message is different from that of the others. And let me say clearly that Peter Obi is very different from the traditional and conventional Nigerian politician. You are aware.
Can you tell us how so, please? Educate us on how so.
Yes, you are aware. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
You are aware that he's about the only governor in the Nigerian socio-political amphitheater who's not drawing a pension or an emolument from the former state he governed. Tinubu, as you and I talk up to today, is drawing pensions and gratuity from Lagos State. As you and I talk, Wakwanso is doing the same from Kano State. As you and I talk, the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar receives emoluments from the federal government where he served as Vice President. It's only Peter Obi that said to the Anambra people and indeed Nigerians that he came to serve his people, and after 8 years in service, he's gone back to his business. He does not draw any pension. That's unique. Any emolument, any gratuity from the Anambra State coffers. Number two, when he was governor, we noted he put primacy on education. No governor, no state has been able to rise from number 24, 26 in terms of rating regarding school certificate exams to number one in 3 years. And then are you aware that whilst he was governor, the former IG of police, MD Abubakar, said that for 5 years, Anambra, 5 out of 8 years, Anambra State was number one in terms of security of lives and properties. So what am I trying to say? Peter Obi is absolutely different from those who are contesting against him. If you were to rate him, he's not a saint like no human being is. But compared to the other candidates he's running against, he is indeed a saint.
All right. So, thank you. So let's look at, the sudden accent of the candidacy of Peter Obi. Do you think that this actually represents a rare chance for the Nigerian future? I mean, based on the movement.
It does in so many ways.
Okay, how?
It does in so many ways. It does absolutely. Look at it. That is why across the 6 geopolitical zones, Nigerians identify with his candidacy. His candidacy has become a sweltering harmattan of sorts. East, west, north, and south, Nigerians aggregate at the parlor where even old men who are older than him proudly go by the name obedience. Young people say that they are obedience because his candidacy resonates with the quest to take back our country for good. Nigerians are unanimous in the call for a new republic and a new tendency in leadership. Nigerians are unanimous in the fact that we want to use the Nigerian resources, Nigerian people's resources for their well-being and welfare. Nigerians are interested in having a government that works. Nigerians are committed to a new republic where, instead of profligacy, wastage of our collective wealth, we need a president who is frugal. He did that in Anambra State. When he was leaving Anambra State, he did not leave Anambra with debts. He, in fact, left Anambra with about 78 billion naira, from which the governor who succeeded him said that he built the Anambra airport. What are we trying to say? We're talking about a candidate who believes in frugality. We're talking about a candidate who believes that Nigeria's people's money must work for them. We're talking about a candidate who believes that the time to give Nigeria back to the citizens of this country is now. And above all, Nigerian people across this country are uniting and profoundly in unison with the Peter Obi campaign. Let me say this. This is the best way to understand how prevalent, how pervasive, how, Kwame may use the word ubiquitous, his candidacy and his message has become. There is this opinion poll, which I call the best so far in the campaign. And Aboki, our brother from the north, who was caught on camera selling flags. And then when he was confronted, they asked him, how much do you sell Labour Party flag? He said to them that he sells Labour Party flag for 500 naira. They asked him, how much do you sell the PDP flag? He said he sells the PDP flag for 300 naira. And then when they asked him how much he sells the APC flag, he said, I know they sell APC flag because they're not a buy. You know, that is it. How effective and effectual the obedient message, the obedience campaign, and the Labour Party campaign have become. Everybody across this country identify with the message of Peter Obi. Everybody across this country identifies with the quest for a new Nigeria, where governance and leadership is responsible and responsive to the people.
All right, another look at your manifesto, what you mentioned about increase in, wages, especially for the force personnel and all that. I mean, recently the World Bank has expressed worry over Nigeria's death profile and as much as that of other countries, but we're worried about ours. And they projected that come 2027, we may be servicing our debt, not paying, but servicing our debt with at least 160% of our revenue. Even though the Minister of Finance has come to say that we're not broke, but then this seems to be a lot of worry. Does your principal understand the task that is ahead of him in terms of, if he wins the election, should he win the election, in terms of generating revenue to run the country?
You remember that one of his cliché and one of the most profound mantra of our campaign is moving Nigeria from consumption to production. He understands the reality. He understands the issue. He understands that successive governments have, since Obasanjo left, after managing and settling our debts, successive governments since then have incurred more debts and refused to largely service these debts. So he understands the reality, and that is why he has said that Nigeria will not borrow to pay salaries. That Nigeria can only borrow when it must borrow to build infrastructure and develop on the infrastructural deficit. And what am I trying to say? He has said in no uncertain terms that going forward, Nigeria will be productive. Going forward, we will exploit our God-given resources. Going forward, we will put primacy on our educational system and grow experts who will not only revamp this country, but who will ensure that we create wealth. That is because when we do that, we will stop unnecessary borrowings and we'll be able to export goods and services manufactured at home and ensure that the values of our currency improves and ensure that above all we're rich enough to service our debts and make this country the pride of a black man.
All right, thank you. So indeed, we see the massive turnout of crowd of people every time your party's presidential candidate goes for a campaign rally, and it's quite impressive. But considering the a little bit of fracas that is going on in the party internally, especially with the Ogun State, within the Ogun State axis, would you mind sharing to us how people actually turn out to such rallies, just to clear the doubts, for some people who may be worried that you're still the status quo?
No, but clearly it is in political rallies. The party has in no uncertain terms shown commitment to ensuring that they are able to make the processes for obedience showing up across the country a lot easier. We're the only party that does not buy people, that does not pay people to attend rallies. What we have done at different levels is to try to make it easier for obedience to show up. That is for those who want to show up at different rallies. Regarding the issues about internal wranglings, obviously for every political party, and particularly as it stands today, the leading the party of the leading presidential candidate, you will have people who throw darts. You have people who feel a bit alienated. And don't forget that until about 6 months ago, Labour Party was in the doldrums. Labour Party was in the dark. Now there's a whole lot happening. Now Labour Party is apparently the party in the pole position to produce the president. So you're going to have people from within and without and outside the party pushing to create disaffection in the party. But interestingly, these have been addressed. You have noted that since that the issues came to the fore, we have had a rally in Imo State. And our principal was in Taraba yesterday. Yes. And it was monstrous show of love and commitment by the obedience. Even in Owerri, when he was there, one of the aides of the governor of Imo State openly declared support for Peter Obi. And that's because his message, beyond the inklings and the crisis that people are trying to throw up within the party, resonates. That's because Nigerians identify with his candidacy. That is because the masses of our people are for and with him. And they want a new day, a new republic, a new tendency in governance, and they want a nation that works. And absolutely, the candidate that gives that hope, the candidate that gives the Nigerian people a glimmer of confidence and hope, is Peter Obi.
So are you saying, Prof, that we should disregard the accusation of, the stimulation of people by the executive of the Labour Party in Ogun State against Donye Okukpe? Are you saying we should disregard that it's not a thing?
They have no such rights to do that. It's all like I said in a sister station interview the other time, that it's just simply about the witch cried last night and the child dies this morning. There are people who are trying desperately to create disaffection and to sow bad blood and ill will within the party, and it's been handled effectively. The chairman of the party has come out to say that there is no place in the constitution of a party where the state chapter can remove or suspend or expel, if you like, the DG of a campaign. I think that clearly, because the movement, the obedient movement, the Labour Party has been able to forge a campaign that is the type never seen in the history of our country. Some people are trying to manipulate those who are manipulatable, those who are malleable, if you like, those who are vulnerable to the antics of lucre, antics of resources and money, to do the unthinkable. But you know what? I have said repeatedly that the obedient movement is the vehicle that is a vehicle that is pushing the Labour Party campaign. And indeed, obedience across the country have moved beyond that dart. Obedience across the country are nudging Peter Obi to consistently keep his eyes on the ball and the goal. And I want to say here that the Labour Party is dealing with and handling the issues. And above all, what is important to us is that we continue to preach the message for a new Nigeria.
All right, I'd like Lagos to know that they are open to joining into this conversation and ask you questions, because I didn't mean to ask questions myself. It was an opportunity for them to chime into this and then ask their questions. So the phone lines are officially open. You can call us in 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call. 0700 903 903 903. You can do also WhatsApp message on 0700 903 9039. If you're watching off YouTube, you can actually do also a WhatsApp voice call on 0700 903 9039. Hello, good evening to you.
Pretty precious.
Oh, Mr. Darlington, good evening and welcome.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Yes, I have some issues with your guest. He was one of those that packaged Buhari and APC for Nigerians. I think I've met him one or twice in a radio station or TV station. And he swore that he is a Buhari. He was defending Buhari even when things have gotten out of hand. At a point, he added Musa to his name and was keeping a goatee like Osama bin Laden just to attract his attention for appointment. He did all this. This same person now, under your interview, you saw how he told us how Kwakwanso was collecting money and that people were collecting money. But he didn't mention Tinubu. He still has sympathy for APC. We don't want such a person to be speaking for Peter Obi. He can never criticize Buhari or APC or Tinubu. Quote me. He has sympathy for APC. Such a character is not consistent with what Peter Obi represents. And I'm saying it clearly here. Let him deny it. Why did he leave APC? After swearing that he's a Buharist.
All right, Mr. Darlington, your point is noted. Would you let him respond or react to your accusation, if I'd have to call it that? Thank you. All right, Prof, but I don't know if you heard what he said.
No, but clearly he hasn't listened to this interview. It's, I really don't join issues with people. When my greatest quote, every time you hear me talk, I quote Sir Walter Scott, "Oh, what a tangled web will weave when first will practice to deceive." I don't know how much he knows me, and I don't know whether he actually listened to this interview, because the first person I mentioned when I talked about people who are taking resources from their state was Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I said he takes humongous. I used the word humongous emoluments.
But based on his accusation, did you at any point actually support the APC administration?
I managed, and listen clearly, I managed the propaganda of the APC in 2014, 2015. And clearly, if Atiku was with us in that campaign, I'm sure that he's either supporting, and then the truth is that so many of us who worked for Muhammadu Buhari in 2014, 2015, were desirous to get a Nigeria that's working.
All right, so Prof, please, would you graciously give me 2 minutes and you will respond? You have 3 hours I have given to you to do this, so don't worry, we have so much time. But I need 2 minutes to rush for a quick break. We'll be right back to get further of your response, please. Thank you.
This is your number one radio station at VOP 90.3 FM.
When I finish downloading this show like this, I will go straight to Tayo's house to eat sweet jollof. Then enjoy this movie on YouTube. It's just that Tayo will now start disturbing me to turn on my Wi-Fi for him when he can easily enjoy data bonus with MTN for me. With MTN for me, you will get 100% data bonus and discounted data bundles just like that. What are you waiting for? Dial *121# to get started with MTN for me.
Hi, I'm Rufai Hussaini. Join my brother, Joseph Edgar. This December, we've got 4 exciting plays tagged Encore.
Our Duke has gone mad again. A bold and audacious
audacious satirical masterpiece on the 10th of December. Ufokiban, an exciting but emotionally packaged play depicting the brave women of Ikorabasi who stood for their beliefs and lost their lives on the 11th of December. Awo, a powerful musical that wowed Vice President Professor Oshibajo and other dignitaries on the 17th and 18th of December. Come see what the Olu of Wari saw in Ogiemi Orejuwa II, an explosive display of beautiful Shekiri culture featuring legendary actor Patrick Doyle on Christmas and Boxing Days. All plays will show at 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. at the Muson Center Unicon. Hurry and get your tickets. Festival tickets 70,000, VIP 20,000, regular 5,000. Tickets are available at ariatickets.com, Terra Culture and Muson Center. This event is proudly sponsored by Lekki Gardens, Wema Bank, Anchor Insurance, Zenith Bank, LIRS, First Bank, Amstel Malta, Abbey Mortgage Bank, VOP 90.3 FM, EKDC, and V-Bank. History is playing games. You be the judge.
This is your number one radio station at BOP 90.3 FM.
For Evening Rush with Precious.
Hello, Lagos. In case you're just tuning in, this is the Evening Rush. And for those who's been here with us, welcome back to the Evening Rush 90.3 Voice of the People FM. That's the station that you've been in. My name is Precious Inyi, and we've had with us via a Skype conversation Professor Chris Mukobia. And of course, he's the major convener of the Ubida 10 movement. And we have been looking at the It's Possible manifesto of the APC. We're looking at how actualizable the manifesto is, and he quite have, thrown a bit of light on the manifesto for us. We've also looked at a bit of the internal politics and wrangling going on in the Labour Party right now, I beg your pardon. And but then I opened the phone line for you to throw questions at him directly. You are the one going to vote at the end of the day. So do you have questions? And please do that right away. So Prof, if you're still there, you were actually responding to the accusation about you working to you working for APC in 2014. You were actually responding to that.
No, I was only trying to, because I didn't even in the course of my ruminating on that question, I asked myself, was this young man or whoever he is listening to my discussion? Because I did talk about the failure of the present administration and the need for a new tendency in governance.
Yes, you did.
I did talk about, yes, I did say those fundamentals. So I wonder where he got his questions and his biases from. And then let me say clearly that when we were millions who truly meant well for our country and thought, I'm not God to have known that Muhammad Buhari wasn't going to live true to the promises we made to Nigerian people in 2014, 2015. If the young man who called is indirectly saying that he doubts the competency of Peter Obi, I believe that Peter Obi will deliver on the promises he had made. No,
he didn't doubt. He did not cast doubt on that.
And then let me say, Precious, let me even say something that is very instructive.
Okay.
It was here that I used the word all promises cancelled when I was referring to the APC manifesto.
Yes, I agree.
And so I wonder whether he was actually listening to this program or not. But that's by the way. I think I'd rather address other issues than deal with such biases.
All right, thank you. So let's quickly face some other issues then. So someone on WhatsApp who's in Canada said, Precious, my name is Sarah from Canada. I'm worried about Nigeria. All your doctors are here in Canada. I wonder how you all are managing health-wise. That's a different question entirely. All right. So just to let you know that the phone lines are open. It is 0700 903 903 903. If you're watching off YouTube, you can actually call us live on WhatsApp on 0700 903 9039. Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Yes. Yes, good evening to you. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Taiwo, calling from Oyingbo.
Taiwo, calling from Oyingbo. Really?
Yeah.
All right, Taiwo, you're welcome. Go ahead with your question.
Thank you. What I want to say now is, I don't want to say my side. You see, anybody who says anything to do with APC before, you can never say anything that will make me believe them again. This is the reason why I don't have anything to do with Tinubu. I don't even want to visit any political to say anything now. Just for us to just make sure that we put them back. I'm not against Peter Obi winning, he win fine. Or even if PDP win fine, basically have to leave this one. That's it by you. But for this one to start packaging Peter Obi, the way I think Tinubu and other people packaging the money for them, and then coming back there, start packaging Peter Obi. I bet maybe you have to do another person. So that's the why we say I'm telling you,
all right, you've made your point, right?
Yes.
Thank you so much. I do appreciate it. Well, he was actually talking about
I didn't hear him.
Yes, I understand, and I'm trying to break it down for you. He was saying that he wouldn't believe anybody who had campaigned for APC before, because he doesn't want to hear anything about APC. But let's just jump into another call very quickly. Hello, good evening.
But the question is, I think the Nigerians should learn to assess and dispassionately address issues.
Okay.
Would he believe those who had campaigned for the PDP before, or does he want spirits meant to drop from the heavens to campaign for people? Peter Obi was in PDP.
Exactly my point. I was going to come to that, but I wanted Nigerians to react to that themselves.
Oh, okay.
So, all right. So let's quickly take another call because someone is already waiting. Hello, good evening.
Hello?
Yes, good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, thank you. Good evening. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Ben. I'm calling from Iba.
Ben from Iba. Go ahead, Ben, with your question.
I just tuned in now and I hear when calling to. So, if you see this point that they are making, I'm telling you the truth. To be honest with you, if the professor there with you, I've supported APC before. It is not bad. Do you understand? As of that time, Buhari was the first candidate. I was in the secondary school when Buhari was head of state. His performance was excellent. Do you understand my point? As a military head of state, he performed so well. Buhari performed so well. He fought corruption with the last drop of his blood. So anybody and Jonathan was not performing. We had all from everything. So everybody, so many people were against Jonathan to remove him for a better Nigeria. So he did not commit offense if he had supported the APC because nothing was wrong. Let us judge him now by if he had public position before, any political post before, and he committed fraud. You understand my point? We can now use that one and judge him. Maybe he was a commissioner before, was a minister before, he was a chairman, local government chairman, and he looted or he laundered money. Then let us judge him with that. If anybody that supported Buhari that time did not make mistakes, Buhari and the DIA will perform what I can say no error say have performed like that before. If you see so many things that are happening as a result of that thing, when people come and queue up, it's they forced corruption. Hands down. They were even going shop to shop, selling things, taking price for things. They did so many things. The war against indiscipline was so obvious. So Jonathan was not performing. So he did not commit any offense.
All right, thank you so much. You've made your point. I do appreciate it. Would you like to react to that? Okay, go ahead.
Can I add to the
Yes, you can, please.
Issues?
Yes, please, go ahead.
Let me say that, interestingly, the mistake we make in this country and the reason political office holders take the Nigerian people for granted is that oftentimes we get too emotional than we should be, and we get we throw logic overboard. What should be the concern of Nigerians going into 2023 is how we take back our country and make leadership and governance responsible and responsive to the people. What some of us who campaigned, Wole Soyinka was involved, so many of us who mean well for our country, who campaigned for Buhari in 2014, 2015 did, was to ensure that we have a new administration that is responsible and responsive to the people and that fights corruption. It is not our fault that Buhari did not live true to what he said on paper. For those who wanted the corruption of under Jonathan government to continue, to grow the infantry because Buhari's government appears to have failed, to grow the infantry to say that we did wrong, it beats logic and defeats everything that comes with sane argument. But that's not my worry here. My worry is that we have all agreed that the APC has failed. And what is fundamentally important is that we have to take back our country for good. And God so kind, we have a candidate who resonates with the Nigerian people. The obedient movement is across this country, pushing the narrative for a new day. And the mantra, take back our country, is resonating across the 6 geopolitical zone. So what is important for me is to urge Nigerians and nudge Nigerians on to the message, and ask Nigerians to vote for a new regime, a new administration that believes in frugality over profligacy, an administration that believes that the time to make governance responsible to the people is now, an administration that will, like Peter Obi has said, move Nigeria from consumption to production. And that is what is important to me, that it should resonate with the Nigerian people. And anybody who truly loves our country should go ahead and preach that message rather than lie to the Nigerian people about the competency, capacity, or character of another.
All right. Thank you. Yes. I have tons of questions to ask, but I feel like it's unfair because the entire purpose of this evening's show is to end.
Please.
Go ahead, please.
A lady, somebody from Canada, did raise a fundamental issue.
I know, but you're not in government, so how would your government handle this issue differently, considering the fact that our doctors are living in droves?
No, our manifesto speaks to it. She did talk about the brain drain.
Yeah.
The brain drain in our manifesto, Peter Obi has said clearly that we will translate brain drain to brain gain. We'll create an enabling environment where Nigerians who have left this country on account of the failure of state will return back to impact the country, will return back to get involved in building healthcare. We'll return back to get involved in ensuring that we make our educational system and sector better, that we'll come back to create jobs. And so what has apparently become brain drain will ultimately, under the administration of Peter Obi, become brain gain. So to our people who are in Canada and across the world, who are concerned about how things work here, 2023 will be a watershed. A new administration will come and things will work differently.
All right. Thank you. All right. So the entire purpose of this show, Lagos, is for you to ask questions yourself. I would not want to pose those questions by myself. I have quite a number of concerns in that manifesto that I probably would have raised. But you've heard Prof rather highlight this basically key points in that manifesto. So do you have questions for Prof? You can call in right now, ask him yourself. Those things that you've been talking at the back and, munumini about. Let's hear you say them. 0700 Lagos 903 903 903. That's the number to call. 0700 903 903 903. Let's take your thoughts on the Labour Party Manifesto. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, my dear.
Yes, good evening.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Okoro. I'm calling from Ajawa State.
Okoro from Ajawa State. Go ahead with your question.
Correct. My question is this to your guest. What would your candidate do differently in terms of judiciary based on what we are seeing now? Would your candidate give the judiciary an independent practices that's the way it's supposed ought to be, like other countries in the world? Thank you.
All right, Prof, you heard that?
I didn't get that.
Okay, so he asked what your candidates would do differently in terms of judiciary, and if your candidate is willing to actually give the judiciary the freedom to be truly independent. That's his concern.
Well, clearly, the manifesto speaks to the need for a holistic legal reform where not only would the judiciary, the independence of the judiciary be upheld, our candidate believes that with the independence of the judiciary will come strengthening of the pillars of democracy. If the legislation, as it were, becomes more responsible to the people by living true to what the constituencies of the legislature and the executive, and the last hope, the bastion of hope of the common man, which is the judiciary, would sit up and live true to its responsibility. There will be no executive interference in the activities of the judiciary, and the Supreme Court, indeed, the Chief Justice of the Federation and the NJC will be able to live true to the letters of the law. That's exactly, we're talking about a regime, an administration that one of its mantra has been, is clearly going to be leaving no Nigerian behind. We're talking about the rights and dignities of citizenship. And congruent with that is what we do with the judiciary. Peter Obi has in no uncertain terms said that he will run a people's-oriented administration. He will ensure that the rights of the people is protected, and he will ensure the independence of the judiciary. So without equivocation, whilst he was in Anambra State as a governor, he lived to those intendments, and he believes in the judiciary strongly. And we will ensure, like he has said in no uncertain terms, that the rights of the people is protected through the instrumentality of a truly independent judiciary.
Thank you. All right. Hello. Good evening to you. Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Good evening. What's your name? Where are you calling from? This is 90.3 Voice of the People FM.
My name is Malaka. I'm calling from Jibo, Lagos.
Malaka, you're welcome. Go ahead.
Okay. Can you hear me? Nobody should blame Trump. So do you know why I said so? I'm one of the people who campaigned for Buhari for the corruption and everything. I'm not a politician. But I talked to people to vote for him that Nigeria will be good. But you know, today, I cannot be proud to talk in my place any longer. They will stone me. So anytime they want to talk anything politics, I have to leave the place because everybody will be against me. Because I so much believe that through Buhari, through fighting of the corruption, Nigeria will be good. But today we are in the mess. So nobody should blame Prof. So I even did more than Prof. So today I cannot talk.
Thank you. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, thank you. Good evening.
Okay, my name is, I'm calling from Badagry.
Your name is what, Demi?
My name is Samuel.
Samuel, you're welcome. Go ahead, Samuel.
Yes, I want to contribute to this program.
All right, go ahead, Samuel.
Because now, if you can see Obi movement as the eye opener. I hope you are hearing me now. But the thing where I can say is that before you can carry the trailer now loaded with a full load from Lagos to Kano, before you can do that, you must be expert. I hope you are hearing me. Okay, now you want to be a president of Nigeria. Yeah, it's supposed to be gain the experience before you can be able to come out to control your own. Like Osibajo now, he has the experience of Nigeria now. Anything you want to do now, he can do it well. I hope you are hearing me. And like Atiku now, he has been with Obasanjo for 8 years. He have the experience. Then Mr. Obina, I think he's supposed to deal with Atiku to learn, to know some of the do's and don'ts in Nigeria before he can come out to be on your own. There are many things where you never learn from other tribes. I hope you are hearing me. You cannot just come out now and say you want to be heavyweight champion. You want to win for 5 months, just to go training, then you want to be a champion. Or you want to win a World Cup. You practice for 1 year and you want to win World Cup. It's not easy. So the movement is eye-opener, but it should be in mind. It doesn't have a governor, it doesn't have a senator, He doesn't have this thing in the house. I want to be on their top. Is it easy? It's not an easy thing. So this movement is a good movement, but it should not think that this movement can resort to what they want to do. I hope you are hearing me. There are many cabal in this thing. So for you, except you be military, where you kill all of them. You not kill all of them. How can you move? Huh? You know it's possible. They can just tell you.
All right, thank you.
I've been hearing all these things. Like, you worry me that I must call on you people today. I hope you are hearing me.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much. So I hope you're listening so that you listen to the guests respond or react to this your statement. All right, so did you hear what he said, Prof? Yes, I can hear you crystal clear.
Yes, I did.
All right. You heard everything he said about learning from experience and Atiku and Oshibajo having the experience. And yes, let's have your reaction.
I totally disagree with him. I don't know what kind of experience he wants Peter Obi to have working with these people. They are largely responsible for where we are as a nation. Our politics is dirty. Our politics is egocentric. Our politics has become an estate of sorts where them and their children's children are feasting on our collective patrimony. And Nigeria needs a new beginning. Nigeria needs a new tendency. Interestingly, towards the end of his comment, he sounded a bit contradictory. You say he believes that there are a lot of people, a lot of hawks and dragons in the political amphitheater. Mm-hmm. And he wants Peter Obi to learn from them. I don't understand.
No. I think the point he was trying to make is that there are lots of cabals that need to be fought, and you need to gain the experience, the required experience to be able to, conquer them or push them off the system.
What experience do you need to deal with the same people? Are you going to get the experience from the same people who put the cabal in place? He did talk about Peter Obi continuing with Atiku. The truth is that there is need for a break from the past. There is need for a new tendency in leadership. And the only experience and commitment that you need to fix Nigeria is a good heart, a commitment to the values of leadership, an understanding that you must create strong institutions rather than strong men. And what do we need in this country? We need a man who is frugal. We need a man who's passionate, a man who's true to what he says. A man who has competency and capacity, not necessarily the experience people mount in this country, because it was this same experience that brought us to this sorry past. Those who claim to have had experience in leadership in Nigeria are chiefly those who have milked our collective patrimony, who have stolen from Nigeria and given nothing in return to the Nigerian people. So what we need...
Go ahead, please, Prof. Oh dear. All right, I don't know if we've lost you. Are you there, Prof? You can go ahead. You was... All right, I think we lost him temporarily. All right, so whilst we try to reconnect with the Prof, just to let you know that we've been speaking with Professor Chris Nwokobia, and he's helped quite, an insight. Prof, are you back there? Are you there, sir?
Yes, I'm still here.
All right. Okay. So you were saying, I'm sorry about that. We lost you for a moment.
Yeah, I'm saying that the experience that we need is commitment to the pristine values of leadership. Okay. Commitment to ideals that will make Nigeria truly great and better than the past. Commitment to production rather than consumption. And commitment to the values that will take our country away from the nada to promise. We need a leader who truly loves our country, not those who love themselves and their families over and above the people.
All right. So, in case you're just listening, you are listening to 90.3 Voice of the People FM. That's the station right here. We've been speaking with Professor Chris Nwokobia Jr. He's the convener, Country First Movement, and also the Director of Public Affairs, the Big Tent Obi Dati Independence Campaign Organization. And we've been looking at the It's Possible Manifesto, the rise of the Labour Party, and Obi Dati movement. That's actually what we have been looking at, and the Obi Dati ticket chances of winning in 2023. And then we also did a look at a bit of the squabble going on in the APC, in the Labour Party, the internal politics there, especially regarding the Ogun State, chapter of the party. We will be looking further at what will Labour Party's chances be to win the 2020 election, especially considering that you need at least 24, you need to win to the 5% of votes in 24 states out of the 36 states of Nigeria to win the election. Is that feasible for the Labour Party to achieve? We'll discuss all of this and more. Professor Nwokobia is still with us, and he'll join us after this break. Stay with us. This is 90.3 Voice of the People FM. Let your WhatsApp messages get into that number 0700 903 9039. That's the WhatsApp number. But in case you want to reach us live, it is 0700 903 903 903. If you're watching from the diaspora, you can call us on the WhatsApp number 0700 903 903 9. We'll be right back.
This is your number one radio
If you want to be heard, say it here. On Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. 90.3 FM.
Papa, mama, brother, sister, this Lagos must work for all of us. Everybody down
Oh yes, Lagos people, papa, mama, sister, brother, auntie, plus including uncle them. Better don't land for Lagos State gidigba. Money where be for Lagos State, then go use them for Lagos State. Wella, no more papa sope. They no go chop Lagos State money. Nobody go pocket Lagos State. Then go take and build Lagos State, build road, build hospital, build houses, and now only one man fit do this job. His name na Abdulaziz Olajide Adediran Jando. He can't carry one obonge person as the deputy governor. Her name na Funke Akindele. My people, what do we wait for? Make we vote for light, vote for change. No be the kind change where they vote before. This one na the original change. How Amumu don't do? Pay the pay.
When I finish downloading this show like this, I will go straight to Tayo's house to eat sweet jollof. Then enjoy this movie on YouTube. It's just that Tayo will now start disturbing me to turn on my Wi-Fi for him when he can easily enjoy data bonus with MTN for me. With MTN for me, you will get 100% data bonus and discounted data bundles just like that. What are you waiting for? Dial *121# to get started with MTN for me.
Voice of the People, 90.3 FM.
When I finish downloading this show like this, I will go straight to Tayo's house to eat sweet jollof. Then enjoy this movie on YouTube. It's just that Tayo will now start disturbing me to turn on my Wi-Fi for him when he can easily enjoy data bonus with MTN for me. With MTN for me, you will get 100% data bonus and discounted data bundles just like that. What are you waiting for? Dial *121# to get started with MTN for me.
This is your number one radio station at BOP 90.3 FM.
When I finish downloading this show like this, I will go straight to Tayo's house to eat sweet jollof. Then enjoy this movie on YouTube. It's just that Tayo will now start disturbing me to turn on my Wi-Fi for him when he can easily enjoy data bonus with MTN for me. With MTN for me, you will get 100% data bonus and discounted data bundles just like that. What are you waiting for? Dial *121# to get started with MTN for me.
This is your number one radio station at BOP 90.3 FM.
The Evening Rush with Pressures. Let me bring you a reminder of hot topical conversations of the day.
Even state investors. As we're saying, you've not funded those on ground.
Critical analysis of hot and trending topics on Hot Topics.
That's enough for a responsible government to take appropriate action.
Politics.
If every president, every governor, every minister, every commissioner took his job seriously, this country would not be where it is.
Economy.
We're not growing in terms of what's happening with the economy.
Lifestyle. Human angle.
Put the government on notice.
and sometimes the unusual. Evening Rush with Precious, Monday to Friday, 6:15 p.m. to 9 p.m. 90.3 Voice of the People FM, Lagos. Now
you have a voice.
Yes, you do have a voice, Lagos, and that's exactly what we do right here on 90.3 Voice of the People FM. And exactly what I am doing this evening, I had to bring someone from the Labour Party, a representative of the Labour Party, to you for you to air your voice, for you to, let your voice be heard, right? If you have questions for him concerning the happenings around the Labour Party, its candidates across the country, its presidential candidates, well, you have him here over the phone. You can ask him questions, and he is live with us to respond to all of these and more. Professor Chris Wokobia, thank you so much for hanging in there. I do appreciate you. Thank you so much. Hello, Prof. Are you there? Hello?
I'm here. Thank you.
All right. So, we're responding to a question, or we should just move. So, there's been quite, some concern about the possibility of the APC winning at least 25%. So, did I say APC? I beg your pardon. Labour Party winning 25% votes in at least 24 states of the 36 states of the Federation. What is the Labour Party doing to ensure that that happens?
Across our country,
yes, please.
There's only one party that has a monstrous message across the news and cranny of this country.
Irrespective of the structures thing that other parties have accused you of?
No, they already know. They already know what the argument and the debate about structures are.
Okay.
And structures are about human beings, not necessarily about what they originally wanted us to believe. Yes, we may not have governors, but are you aware that 2 former heads of states are clearly obedient? Are you aware that some governors are out there are clearly obedient? You know them, you see them everywhere, and you see their consistent message and their support, all for Peter Obi. In our country, where our campaign is the most fervent, our campaign is the most passionate, and this is not because I am supporting Peter Obi. I'm telling you the truth, and the Nigerian people who are listening to us know that is the truth. A call for a new day, the call for a new republic, the call for a new tendency in leadership, the call for a new deal is the message everywhere. So the question is, can we get 25% of 2/3 of 36 states?
Exactly.
That's about 24 states.
Yes.
The answer is a capital letter yes. We will win.
How so?
The entire Southeast. We will win the entire Southeast. We will win the entire Southwest. The entire South-South. We will win part of the Southwest. We will win most of the North Central. We'll win some states in the Northeast. And we'll win some states in the Northwest. That is the truth. I don't want to start naming the states. You know the states. But I want to say clearly that the 2023 election is a battle, a contest between truth and falsehood. A contest between light and darkness, a contest between good and evil. And you know that in historicity, good has never lost to evil. Truth has never lost to falsehood. Light has never lost to darkness. So we ultimately have a candidate who's better than the other candidates. Our message resonates. And come February 25th, 2023, Nigerians will step out to consummate what we call a peaceful ballot-based revolution across the 6 geopolitical zones. And God willing, in the morning or the night of the 26th or 27th of February 2023, Peter Obi will be announced the president-elect of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
All right, so Prof, right, if we look at the way election is being done in Nigeria, for instance, come February, we'll have the federal election, which is that for the presidency, and we will have that for the Senate, for the National Assembly. We'll also have the House of Representatives. And because of the timing of election, people are often given 3 ballot papers at a time. In a situation where Labour Party barely has candidates across all wards, for the other National Assembly positions, do you think that it is going to be very easy for probably an illiterate Nigerian to vote Labour Party for presidency and then now go further to vote other parties for other, considering that you don't have candidates, in other positions, for other positions, especially in the National Assembly?
Are you aware that INEC has said in no uncertain terms that most of the new registrants that they have on their database are actually Nigerians who had never voted before, are actually young people? Do you know why?
And 2.7 million of those people, those registrations have been cancelled. That's a big problem.
It is negligible compared to the fact that before they went out to register, more than 60% of those who were on the INEC register were people between the ages of 35 and 13 and 18, between 35 and 18.
I agree.
So cumulatively, our voters register has young people between the ages of 40, candidate that they resonate with. Do you know the candidate that they want to vote? Do you know that the message they believe and the message they are preaching out there is about Peter Obi, is about the need to take back our country? So what is primarily important is that we're not discouraged. What is primarily important is that we're not discouraged by what people say. We're consistently pushing the narrative because the structures, you saw that campaign where young people put out everywhere on social media. We are the structures. We are the structures. Across the 6 geopolitical zones, these structures are evident. And Nigerians identify with the fact that the candidate that they want to vote for come February 25th, 2023 is Peter Obi. The truth is that Nigerians are tired of the behemoth, the APC. Nigerians are tired of the Leviathan, the PDP. And Nigerians want a new day. And that new day will come when we step out to vote on the 25th of February 2023.
All right. So you're saying that irrespective of the voting patterns that we have studied over the years, that nothing, there's going to be a huge change in voting patterns this year.
The Labour Party logo is unique. Nigerians are tired of voting for things.
But talking about, speaking of logo, by the way, it shares the same color pattern, with some other parties.
Precious, very interestingly, Nigerians are tired of voting for the broom. Nigerians are tired of voting for the umbrella. Nigerians want to vote for human beings for the first time in our history. The logo of the Labour Party is about the family. We want to build on the family. We want to build new values. We want to build strong values and leadership. We want to be people-centric and people-oriented. And so, interestingly, the redemption ahead is about the redemption of the Nigerian persona. We want to concentrate on new values and leadership. And so Papa, Mama, Pekin, which is the logo of the Labour Party, is a new message everywhere. Go to the markets and ask them, Obi's party, what is the logo? They'll tell you Papa, Mama, Pekin. And the day they step out to vote, they will vote for Papa, Mama, Pekin. Because the time has come for us to fix our country and make the primacy of lives and properties a summum bonum.
Thank you so much. Interesting affirmations there. All right, so let me hit back the phone lines right away. Hello, good evening to you.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, good evening. What's your name? Where are you calling from, please?
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you too?
Yeah, my name is Prince.
Prince, where are you calling from?
Yeah, I'm calling from Ekebe.
All right, Prince, go ahead. You have your time.
Okay, yeah. I want to speak on the issue of this manifesto. And for me, I'm very, very impressed with the manifesto. And for me, it's not really about the manifesto because really over the years, we have seen these other parties brandish all kind of, fine manifesto that they don't even know what is inside the manifesto. And I love the fact that even when other parties were criticizing Peter Obi, he was taking his time because he wanted to internalize this manifesto. Not tomorrow you call him and say you don't know what is inside of it. So and finally he came came up with something that is practicable and something that is, that is doable. And I believe that if Peter Obi comes in to Labour Party, Nigeria will change. And that is why you see what is going on in the country, that people, this evil, wicked system, that they don't want the masses to enjoy, that have held this country back. And you see all kind of manners of things they are doing when it's very clear that this man has all that it takes to change a country. Then you see that the APC who has misruled Nigeria, instead of them to be apologizing to the backwardness they brought Nigeria, they still shamefully is asking me and everyone else to give them another term. Tinubu told Buhari to us, and the same Tinubu now wants to become president. I don't have anything against him personally, but the man is so well. And you have people around him pushing this man on. What kind of wicked? How can we be so wicked to ourselves?
All right, thank you so much. If you've made your points, let's take another caller, or probably let the prof respond or react to
what I'm saying the essence of this is that we have the issue of the manifesto is wonderful. I believe that everybody should put their hands on deck and make sure that come February 25th, we must have the right leader in the right office.
Thank you so much.
And another thing I want to say is that the issue of having, they say that if Peter Obi doesn't have many House of Reps,
can you hear me?
Look at what happened when he was in Anambra. He was the only person. Abga didn't have anybody in the House of Assembly, but he ruled Anambra and he made sure that he saved money. He did a lot of development. So all that theory is out of the window for me. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I do appreciate it. Well, you heard, Prof, I don't know if you heard what he said. First of all, he said he believes in the manifesto, that it's well articulated, and he also affirmed the fact that when Peter Obi, according to him, was the governor of Anambra State, he didn't have majority of ABGA candidacy in the House of Assembly, but he still was able to, survive through. So, would you like to react to that very quickly?
No, I think that if I heard most of what he said, he's practically one of those obedients who believe that the time to better new Nigeria is now. And like I said to you, largely, if you notice, even the callers who had one or two things perhaps against me, agrees that Peter Gregory Obi is the way to a new Nigeria. And that's actually what I'm trying to tell you, that the way forward for us as a people is to try a new deal in leadership, a new order, a new tendency. A man who believes that the time to make Nigeria work to the benefit and for the good of everyone is now. And I believe that we must consistently continue to talk to the Nigerian people about the noble manifesto that we put out. And we have to consistently tell Nigerians that when we talk about hunger is indiscriminate of religion or region. Hunger is indiscriminate of ethnicity. When we talk about insecurity, the man who comes looking for who to kill, the bandit, does not ask whether you're Christian or Muslims before he deals his villainy. The ones who are busy causing troubles across our country are indiscriminate of where you are from. So in fixing Nigeria, we must look for a candidate who believes that every Nigerian should be considered in how we make our country good and great again. And Peter Gregory Obi is the only one who has said that do not vote for me because I'm Christian. Do not vote for me because I'm Igbo. Do not vote for me because I'm from the South. Vote for me because of my competency and capacity. Vote for me because of my integrity. Vote for me because of the love I have for Nigeria. And that is what should count going forward.
All right. Okay, so let's jump back to the phone lines. Hello, good evening to you. Please help me turn off totally the volume of your radio set. So whilst he's doing that, I will have tons of messages. So I think it's time that we visited them very briefly. Let's see where to start. Okay, so this message says, it's only a person with questionable character and loads of baggages and skeleton in their cupboard that would ignore a well-organized debate in your economy. If the APC man is enough and have the temerity, he would have to answer. Well, you went on and on and on and on. Then you went on to say Buhari and APC has brought to the citizens a lot of hardship. That was why he ignored the well-organized Arise TV debate. Well, you are saying a different thing entirely. I appreciate you. But Kolawole from Ejigu said, good evening, precious. There is no point castigating the prof because everybody has right to make a U-turn in decision making. We all work with belief system to run our life. I may believe in you today and refuse tomorrow based on antecedents. That's what Kolawole said. And then I move quickly to another message. This is from Stephen Agumore. He says, good evening, precious and prof. As it is for now, we need everyone, including our perceived enemies, on this project of recovering Nigeria from the stronghold of the political scavengers. Through Peter Obi, let's put our differences and get this job done first. This is the only country we have for now, and we must make it work for all Nigerians. And that's what Stephen thinks. And then I move on to Piva from Ladipo. He said, please, what is the plan of the Obi Dati for the improvement of electricity, fighting cabals, whom have held this country ransom for ages? The frustrated Jonathan, and how is Obi going to deal with these enemies if prosperous in 2023 election? Prof, are you there? Did you hear that message?
Yeah. Yes, I heard that. The part that interests me is the fact that even all the candidates, including those who contributed to our dance in the morass, mouth, everyone is saying that the time to ensure that our electricity, energy sector is fixed is now. But you know what? There's only one candidate who has articulated in his manifesto how best to get that done. Peter Obi is thinking and talking about how we can generate power through wind, through waste, through solar. And he's thinking and talking about how we can partner with those who have been able to defeat the challenge in their countries. Remember that before the campaigns began, he went to Egypt to understudy how they were able to generate over 28,000 megawatts of power in so short a time. He's committed to the new Nigeria. He's not one of those who just believes that politics should be about the next election. He believes that politics should be about governance, about bettering the lives and the lot of the people. So the Labour Party is interested in ensuring that through the rejuvenation of our power sector and through delivering sustainable power and electricity, jobs are created. Don't forget that the Labour Party is about creating jobs. And so we all agree in this country that if we were to have energy, businesses will thrive. If we were to have energy, Dunlop will be here in this country. If we were to have energy, Michelin would still be here. If we were to have energy, so many of the businesses that closed down and folded up will still be running. So at the core of our manifesto and at the core of the challenge for a new Nigeria is ensuring that we revamp the energy sector, is ensuring that we make leadership responsible to the people, is ensuring that we have a boisterous and effective infrastructure. And this is the way to go. And Peter Obi has in no uncertain terms said that these things must be done, and we are committed to it. We believe that 2023 will be a new day.
You know, Prof, it's quite interesting to see this commitment and then to, see these affirmations that these promises will be obeyed to the letter. But you would recall that the person who was heading, the former president of Lagos State once said, before this present administration came into office, that any government that knows what they're doing should be able to fix the power sector or the electricity issue of Nigeria within 6 months. And this particular government has been in power for over 7 months now. We're yet to see that fix. As a matter of fact, he also headed that particular ministry for a couple of years. So the thing is, that's actually why we're asking. One thing is about to make a promise and to be quite positive about it. Another thing is actualizing it at the end of the day.
No, but what is the difference between Peter Gregory Obi and the APC candidate and the other candidates is the fact that he keeps to his words. That's where I react. My response to the caller who talked about Buhari and Buhari not keeping to his promises. I did say that I'm not God to have judged Buhari differently, but here we have seen how Peter Gregory Obi kept to his promises to the Anambra people. And so I am confident. You have heard him several times say that if he does not transform, if he does not keep the promises he has made to the Nigerian people, may God judge him harshly. He has said that several times. And in one of the fora, I've told him after the interview not to use those words anymore. And then he said no, because Nigerians will not take him very seriously if he doesn't say that. But I think that the time has come for us to believe that the candidate that we have has competency, has capacity, and has integrity. And we all know that the way to move this country away from poverty to promise is to ensure that we have our energy sector back to life. And that is exactly what we'll do from day one when Peter Gregory Obi becomes the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We'll look at how we diversify the energy sector. We'll look at how we generate power from waste, from wind, from solar. We'll look at how we remove the control of the oligarchs or the monopolies in that sector and ensure that we have a sector that is liberalized, like what happened in 2001 when Obasanjo liberalized the telephone sector. You remember we used to have NITEL or so controlling, or MTEL controlling the entire sector.
Yes.
But when the telephone system was liberalized, those who in 2001, 2002 thought that telephones were for the novel rich, today the Okada rider, today the Megad, today the food seller has a mobile, a handheld phone, and today they are all functioning well. So I think that the time has come for us to liberalize that sector and ensure that those who can generate power for as small as Ikeja will do that. Those who can generate power for as small as Surulere will do that. Those who can generate power for as small as Gwarimpa in Abuja will do that. And then we wouldn't have this darkness that has been liberalized, this darkness that is everywhere.
All right.
But I do sincerely believe that the time has come for us to do things differently.
All right. Our phone lines have been on fire. I'd like us to quickly jump back to our calls. Talking about, unfulfilled promises. Remember that this, as someone from this present administration once said, if we do not perform, stone us. We haven't stoned this administration yet. So let me go back to the phone lines. Hello, good evening to you. Hello?
Good evening.
Yes, good evening. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yes,
I can't hear you. I think something is wrong with your lines. I can't hear you.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Well, it's not quite clear, but just make it brisk if you can. Go ahead.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yes. Go ahead. Make it brief.
All right. I'm so pleased with the guest person in the studio.
Okay.
Professor. He has actually spoken my mind. I'm so happy. We have only two candidates contesting for the president of Nigeria. The candidate that means good for Nigeria, another candidate that means bad for Nigeria. The candidate that has credibility, another candidate that doesn't have credibility. The candidate of light versus the candidate of darkness. There is no two ways about it. Posterity will judge Nigerians if they fail not to vote for people. I rest my case.
Thank you so much. I'm sure Prof would not want to respond to that because, it seems like it's drumming exactly what he's already said before. So let's just quickly jump on another call. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, good evening to you. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Do you have questions?
Yes. Ibeto calling from Surulere.
Ibeto, you're welcome. Go ahead. What's your question?
Yeah, I so appreciate our studio. My question is if my next year. Oh, okay. Hello? Yeah, if it becomes president, what can you do about
Unfortunately, Beto, it looks like you have to call us back because your phone line is breaking up. We can barely hear what you're saying, and we don't want to keep consuming your time or your airtime rather. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good
Yes,
evening.
good evening to you. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Prince. Calling from Lagos.
Prince, you're welcome. Go ahead very quickly.
I am one of the security agencies, but I just want to throw my question to your guest. Now, question goes on sensitization, information, and security at the tip. Meaning, actually, the one that is at hand, not when we have gotten victory. So without this, our victory will
just calm down. You said something about, so you see, I don't know what is wrong with the phone lines. It's breaking. You said something about, your question is about sensitization and what again?
Sensitization, insecurity.
Sensitization, insecurity?
And the information. Now, when I talk about sensitization, information, and the insecurity at the time of voting, let me ask questions. Number one, what are the Labour Party preparing to make sure that an individual who is waiting to vote, that their vote will count and that their life will be better? I know why I'm asking this question. Number one, states like Lagos, they have cabal, which I must mention one of the cabal. If you can connect the number to me, which I don't want to mention somebody's name openly, that used to drag ballot box, shoot guns with its men at the time of voting period. No, I'm a security agent. That's number one. Number two, information and sensitization. How do you sensitize people towards voting, towards getting their PVC, more especially on voting? When you talk about voting, do you only sensitize people on presidency, their presidential candidate alone? Is there any other people that are campaigning, longing to be the governor of the state, the house of the senator, and so on and so forth? That is number two. Number three, sensitization, giving people information on how to vote, on how to get their PVC, and the right and the things they will have to do to defend their vote after they have voted, so that the vote will count. Thank you.
Just before you go, sir, just before you go, the question you asked, you said you're a security agent. So let me take you on the question. I'm not supposed to actually ask the guest questions. That's why I threw the line open for everyone to ask. But let me ask you as a security agent, what are you and your team going to do differently to ensure that people are not deliberately disenfranchised, especially in a place like Lagos, where some people had, said in the past that other elections are thuggery and all of that activities didn't, give them, wouldn't let them vote, as it were, or cost them to be deliberately disenfranchised in the system. So you as a security agent, what are you doing, you and your team? What do you plan to do to ensure that there is equal playing ground?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
The answer to this question may be inside out for a proper result and not publicly to the answer. Secondly, remember that every security agency must obey the last command, whether secretly or openly, even at the absence of conscience, to satisfy the wants of people we are employed. These are where I am going to stop for now.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, sir. So, Prof, would you like to react to this? So he did raise quite, a few concerns. I don't know if you would like to attend to them very quickly.
No, we're not ignorant of the fact that there are a lot to be done regarding ensuring that the electoral process is free, fair, and credible. We're not ignorant of the fact that we have to mobilize our people to ensure that on election day, they monitor the process and ensure that the umpire stays true to the commitment to free, fair, and credible election. We're not ignorant of the fact also that we must inform and educate those who are willing to vote for Peter Obi on how to vote rightly. We are committed to that, we're doing that, and we have in the campaign an electoral department. We also have in the campaign a department that liaises and interfaces with INEC. We also have in the campaign a committee that works in tandem with other political parties in ensuring that the electoral process is duly followed and that INEC lives true to what it says on paper. I believe that what we have coming ahead of us is a peaceful ballot-based revolution where the will of the people will be made to speak firm and loudly at the elections. So we're not disturbed. We're only just being vigilant and doing what we must do to ensure that not only is the election free, fair, and credible, but also peaceful. We're talking to our members and our supporters across the country to continue to be civil and well-behaved, to continue to talk to people and ensure that there is civility, because it's an election, not war. We believe that.
But have your people been civil, quite civil anyway? You know, there's been quite a few accusations about your people almost mobbing people on social media based on how they react. So would you say they've been very, very civil?
In the campaign, the truth is that the most civil group in the campaign, and I say this without fear of querulous critics, are the obedience. I'll give you practical instances. Okay. Have you watched the comments coming from Reno or Mokri? Have you watched the comments coming from even the presidential candidate of the APC who will say that, oh, I don't want to call that one's name? Have you watched the comment coming from the likes of...
But we're not speaking about the representatives here. I was actually talking about, you know, the entire supporters or the support groups.
The most civil group is the obedient movement. We may be fierce, but we're civil. We may be fierce, but we're committed to the issues. We're not the ones using the foulest of languages. We're not the ones cursing and insulting people. We're not the ones calling all kinds of names. We're those who are fierce on what we believe. We want to take back our country for good. And those who are saying that obedience are rude are not being true. Because what you see on the social media are people who are consistently insulting people. And then when they do that, they say, oh, the obedience will come after them. But the truth is that consistently, those who support and follow Peter Obi are very passionate and fierce. They believe in what they believe in, and they believe that the time to take back our country for good is now.
All right. So the last call actually did raise quite a number of concerns on sensitization, information, and security. And you said, you mentioned what you're doing about sensitizing your people, and of course, you know, about security and information. Yes, quite a sad one.
My heart goes out to the man in Abia State, the leader of the party in Abia State, who was murdered by those who do not want a new Nigeria. And my heart goes out to all those flag boys of the obedient movement who have been harassed and attacked across the nation, Lagos and the likes. But I believe that we have made our position known to the security agencies. And interestingly, about 4 days ago, the National Security Advisor did rehearse and state clearly that they will deal squarely with those who, rather than conduct themselves civilly in the political process, evoke violence. We believe that 2023 will be a watershed.
All right.
We believe that 2023 will have a free, fair, and credible election. And that will happen because we're committed to what we're preaching. And we're about issues and Peter Obi will come out top in the 2023 election.
I appreciate that. I appreciate the fact that you said you're for issues, because we've seen quite a number of, other stuffs lately. All right, so let me move quickly to some messages on YouTube. Al-Barka says, Nigerians are not ready for change at all. APC and PDP are the same, while Labour Party is their alternative destination. The best among them all is AAC Omoyele Sowore. Would you like to react to that before we move back to the phone lines?
I didn't get that part.
Well, the pressing is accusing APC and PDP of being the same thing, and the fact that Labour Party is like an alternative to APC and PDP, and that the AAC presidential candidate Omoyele Sowore seems to be the only good one, the way out of the country.
No,
Would you
but
like to react?
It's reciprocal. The fact speaks for itself. The alternative to the two, the twin brothers, the APC and the PDP, is the Labour Party.
He's actually saying that Labour Party is just like, where the APC and PDP guys who are displeased quickly run to. That, I think that's the point he's making.
No, but when some people say some of the things they say about, you know where exactly they're coming from. The truth is that in every respect, Labour Party is different from the APC and the PDP. In every respect, Peter Obi is different from them. In every respect, those who are pushing the narrative, the obedient movement, 90% of them have never been the members of any political party. So the tendencies is absolutely different, and the message they are preaching absolutely different from the message of the other two, the Leviathan and the Behemoth. And what they're saying clearly is that the time has come to take back our country for good, and that we shall do come February 2023.
All right, let me quickly take some more WhatsApp messages before we get back to the phone lines. Good evening, Precious. Please ask Prof about the allegation of not receiving their people not receiving their PVC due to their name. What is the Labour Party doing to address that situation? Prof, you heard that. If you could do that in 1 minute. Have you heard that case anyway before? About some people being denied or deliberately denied their PVCs because of their ethnicity? Hello, Prof, are you there? Hello?
Hello?
Can you hear me, Prof?
I can hear you.
All right, so the question is what the Labour Party is doing about people that are being disenfranchised or are being denied their PVCs in some states because of their ethnicity.
No,
and what the Labour Party is doing about it.
We're taking these issues up with INEC, and INEC is intervening and doing the needful. The truth is that for the new voter registrants and those who are expecting their PVCs, they will start collecting their PVCs on the 12th of December. But for those who are saying that the INEC is refusing them their voters card because of ethnicity in some states, we're accelerating the issues with INEC, and the truth is that INEC understands the urgency of now and knows that Nigerians would demand nothing but free, fair, credible elections, and Nigerians want their PVCs. So they're looking into it, and as you and I talk across the states.
I think I'm losing you again. I don't know. Terrible network. All right. Hello, Prof. Are you there? Hello? I don't know if you can hear me. Are you there, please?
Yes, I'm here.
All right. So go ahead. We did lost you for a tad.
Yeah, so like I said, a lot has been done to correct the anomaly, and INEC is living true to its promises to conduct free, fair, and credible elections.
All right, so let me move to other messages that we have. And Sarah from Canada still said, we diaspora people cannot vote, but they do not realize that we have family in Nigeria we influence. Like my entire family in Lagos voting Obi. That's what she said. And then the next message said, it's Labour Party across board, my dear. He said, even the parents of the youth are all for Labour Party. I affirm that my first run through the Labour Party manifesto is very well presented. The manifesto spells the how of the 7-point agenda. That's what this caller said. And then Comrade Peterson says, sincerity has no stain. Please, can we discussing the gentleman, Mr. Peter Obi, every now and then, for God has shown me clearly he has had mercy in Nigeria, and he has brought this man to help us. That's what Comrade Peterson says. He said Obi is the way. And then I move quickly to all the messages. I think the funfair Peter Obi is enjoying is sympathetic to the inability of the East to produce a president. For me, I will be voting for Omoyele Sowore, a nationalist that is seen as a radicalist. This is a man that has been fighting injustice and inequality in Nigeria. Imagine such a man as the president of Nigeria. None of the presidential candidates can withstand Omoyele Sowore in a debate where he brilliantly speaks to issues without giving false data or numbers. And then he went on and on with that. He said Omoyele Sowore is the best presidential candidate for the job. Adegboyega Adedeji sent in that message. Would you like to react very quickly to that? Prof, are you there? Would you like to react very quickly to that? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think I heard the last question. The other one was largely talking about his or her faith in the candidacy of the Labour Party. But the one who talked about the candidacy of Sowore, I don't have any problem with what candidate anybody support. What I have, my commitment is the fact that we have a candidate who can win the 2023 elections and turn our country around for the best. I am very passionately committed to the candidacy of Peter Gregory Obi, and I believe that this can be done. I believe that he can win the next election. I believe that his candidacy resonates with the Nigerian people, and across the country, people are nudging and pushing that candidacy because he's not only competent, he does not only have the capacity, he's passionate and believes that together we can fix our country for the best.
All right, so just another last WhatsApp message before we head back to the phone lines. And this says, please, what will the obedience government do exactly to bring down prices of commodities and make our currency have value against the dollar? That's one question. And he further said, will you open the border and allow foreign goods come in and out? And he said, will you reform and scrutinize the hyperactivity of the customs service? And then he asked again, we are experiencing series of taxation in anything we want to do and any step we want to take with this government. Look into this direction to minimize some. Will you do that? He said, will you resolve the current government cabinet and cabals that normally jeopardize the incumbent governors? And then he says, what will you do in the aspect of agricultural empowerment? How will the obedient government impact the undergraduate youths, self-employed, and postgraduate youths? And then he said again, is it possible for this government to grant Nigeria steady power supply across the country? In Kabasi sent in that message. That's quite a lengthy question, questions though. So would you like to react to them, please?
First, I'd say that this is quite an exercise because I expected that if you had told me that I was going to be on a drill for so long a time, I would have perhaps planned my schedule. You didn't let me know.
No, apologies. 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 All right, so we can actually be rounding up now, as a matter of fact, really.
But let me accord that the question some very profound response. The truth is that when Peter Gregory Obi said in the manifesto that we will have an overhaul of our legal regime with respect to our governance, I don't know whether you are aware, Precious, that just about 2 days ago, we met with people in the civil service.
Yes.
We met with people, retired directors. Joe Keshi and others were with us at the Barcelona Hotel in Abuja. I was one of the lead speakers at that event. We met with Nigerians to talk about how the manifesto. We're not in power yet, but we're discussing with people in the civil service and across all sectors to see how, together, along with the provisions of the manifesto, will make Nigeria work again and make our civil service and public service very responsible. You know, with respect to the custom and several of the paramilitary and military agencies, there's a reality on the ground. We must make those who superintend this country, who work at different levels, responsible and responsive to our country. we must also ensure that we deploy technology to making what they do effective and efficient. We also must ensure that they have living wages, because the reason there is infractions, larceny and corruption at different levels is because people take home salaries and pays that cannot take them home. You know, if you consider the level of inflation in this country, you find out that oftentimes our civil servants and public servants contravene the laws, disobey the laws, commit some indecorous acts or the other because they struggle to survive. So we shall, God willing, have a republic where leadership is responsible and responsive to the people, where the rule of law is of primacy, and where for those who man our borders, where technology is deployed, where they are assisted, and where they are trained and retrained, like Peter Obi has said in the manifesto, we shall retrain and train and retool those who protect us. So the customs will not be outside that purview, and so will the Nigerian police and all those who protect us be taken care of. And regarding the policy of trade, we shall also ensure that Nigeria, in compliance with the ease of doing business regime of the United Nations and the SDG rules, will stay in tandem with all that is necessary to make our system effective, efficient, and effectual.
All right. Thank you so much, Prof. Apologies that I've taken so much of your time. You know, we were just going to dissect the Labour Party's manifesto and then raise questions and concerns about, you know, happenings around the Labour Party. And so are we expecting to see an end to the fracas going on in the Ogun State branch of the Labour Party pretty soon? Because it's you know, causing quite, you know, some sort of...
No, the truth is that the truth is that the darts and the disagreements that appears to exist are being handled. The truth is that the movement and the campaign, you saw what happened in Imo State 2 days ago, you saw what happened in Taraba today, you've seen what is happening everywhere. Nigerians are united and unanimous in the fact that we want a new day and a new deal. And the leadership of the Labour Party, including Peter Obi, are doing all that is necessary to ensure that we'll go into the election a united, boisterous, happy, and committed political party.
All right. Let me let you rest. I still have quite a number of questions and reactions. The phone lines are buzzing, but I see that I've eaten so much into your time. I'd rather let you rest. Thank you so much for obliging our request to be here this evening, and thank you for helping us through give us quite an insight on the manifesto of the Labour Party, and also affirm to us how exactly the party is working towards achieving 25% of votes in 24 states to ensure become as successful come 2023 February.
The pleasure is profoundly mine. Precious, and I promise that sooner rather than later, definitely before the new year, I'll be in your studios to discuss with Nigerians. And
it's always better to have you in flesh and blood. I agree with you.
The way forward, yeah.
Thank you. It's always better to have you in flesh and blood. Thank you so much. I do appreciate you. Thank you so much. So we have been speaking.
You and God bless Nigeria.
Thank you so much. All right. So we have been speaking to Professor Chris Mustafa Nwokobia Jr. He's a convener, Country First Movement, and the Director, Public Affairs, the Big Tent Obidati Independent Campaign Organization. We'll have just about 5 minutes to wrap up the show. I have quite a number of messages and thoughts that I haven't read. I probably would have to just relay them because I'm letting the prof go, so he won't be on hand to react to those questions. I see what is going on YouTube. You guys are giving yourself, some punch, right? So Matchings Jesus says, have they paid? Okay, did they pay the network to frustrate us? No, they didn't pay network to frustrate us, and network can't even do anything, by the way. And Chris, okay. All right. I won't read this question because the guest isn't here to respond to them, so I don't want to read it. So let's quickly take a break. We'll be right back, Lagos, to wrap up the show. This is the Voice of the People, FM 90.3, and this is the Evening Rush. And the hot topic this evening on the Evening Rush, we've been looking at the Labour Party manifesto of It's Possible, and what, the the manifesto says and how it is going to achieve the critical key points that it's earmarked to achieving in that manifesto. And that's what we've looked at, and we've dissected it quite well. We've also looked at other internal politicking, as it were, within as 2023 general election gathers momentum. We'll be right back. Lagos, stay with us.
Sit tire for here. Put on for in neck. Bonam. Yes, they no go find better work do. Now Yahoo they go do. Bonam. Stop.
That person where you won't born, if it dey innocent, no go carry person blood put for your head. Jungle justice no good at all. Stop am.
You will light the fire. You not get hurt. Say no to jungle justice.
You uncle, we follow for the crowd. They look where then they born person. You no stop them. If they do you like film, abi? Your hands self no clean. No. You fit enter gbege. Stop the lynching. Stop jungle justice.
Under the criminal law for Lagos State, person we start jungle justice, those we support them, and those we just don't look, all of them fit rot for jail. My name na Benjamin Hundeyin, Lagos State Police talk person. Stop jungle justice.
This message now from Lagos State Police Command
and VOP 90.3 FM.
Hello, this is your good radio pal, Citizen Jones Hussein, with the voice of the people, VOP Radio 90.3 on your dial. I'll be sharing 2 solid hours of compact radio with you. Join me, Citizen Jones, every Saturday morning, 7 to 8 a.m. on newspaper headliners and 8 to 9 on Citizen Jones this morning.